We'll note that Delegate Fowler is here, and I'm here. I didn't punch. There we go. Okay.
There we go. Thank you, Tommy.
And here comes Delegate Tran.
And we'll do delegate training. I've got her.
Okay, perfect. So we do have a quorum, obviously. So welcome, Senator Peterson. We'll have you up first on Senate Bill 8.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and appreciate your taking me early. I got to run back next door for a meeting. Senate Bill 8 is really just a follow-on of what we did. It was either 8 or 10 years ago, first allowing Sunday hunting. What we did was we allowed it on private land. We prohibited it on public lands. This simply strikes that exemption and allows Sunday hunting just like you allowed it the other 6 days of the week. This would make us consistent with our neighboring states of Maryland, West Virginia, North Carolina. North Carolina just allowed Sunday hunting, I believe, 2 years ago. Maryland's always had Sunday hunting. I have a hunting license there. And West Virginia, I believe, also allows Sunday hunting now. So I know people have opinions on both sides. I can get into statistics, but I think the principle is really pretty obvious. It would really, as a practical matter, of course, localities would still own their own public lands. They can set whatever regulations they want. I think the most likely beneficiary would be those people that want to hunt DWR lands, which are, of course, all over the Commonwealth. And that's the sum and substance. I know there are witnesses.
Senator Peterson, is it safe to say that basically what your bill does is it takes the current Sunday hunting language and just includes public land now?
Yes,
correct?
sir. That's all it does.
Okay. Any questions of Senator Peterson? Committee.
We had a House bill, didn't we?
There was a similar. I had a House bill that was allowed it on wildlife management areas, but this might be a better bill.
It's simpler.
Okay. We do have some in the queue that I'd like to take. We have Mr. Chris Lasavita.
Good morning, Chairman. Good morning. Good morning, Chairman Emmons and committee members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning in support of Senate Bill 8 and public land Sunday hunting throughout Virginia. My name is Christopher Lasavita Jr., and I'm a proud native Virginian currently finishing up my senior year at Virginia Tech. I'm also a proud hunter and member of Safari Club International. Safari Club International, the country's leader in advocacy to protect the freedom to hunt and to promote wildlife conservation worldwide, strongly supports Senate Bill 8 and the increased access to over 2 million acres that would come with this bill. My time at Virginia Tech over the last 4 years has been nothing short of amazing. Part of that experience has been the readily available access to the nearby national forest, where there are considerable hunting opportunities for licensed buyers, especially college-age students. My friends and I, many non-resident Virginians, often pursue game on the national forest. To do so, not only do we buy licenses, we also purchase stamps to hunt national forests, which no other user group must do to access these lands. Unfortunately, without access to private land in the area, we are limited to only 1 weekend day to hunt on public lands. Statewide, that means that we, along with many others, are unable to access over 2 million acres of public land for hunting on Sundays. Being so, we often travel to other states during the hunting seasons for weekend trips where we can go afield on both Saturday and Sunday. My generation is especially in need of public land opportunities in the Commonwealth. As a college student, I see what many youth and young adults have, the want when it comes to hunting. We agree that it is vital to introduce the younger generations to hunting, so why wouldn't we provide more hunting access for their opportunity? Senate Bill 8 wouldn't just support younger generations, it would also economically benefit the Commonwealth and wildlife conservation through an increase of license sales. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lasavita. Next in the queue, we have John Colclasure. Is John in the queue? There he is. Good morning.
Chairman Evans and members of the subcommittee, good morning. Thanks for the opportunity to be here today. I do live in Virginia. I apologize I can't be there with you. I'm out of town on a work trip. As you're likely aware, this is the 4th public land Sunday hunting bill that's been before the subcommittee in 3 years. Yesterday, I submitted a letter to you all from 15 sportsmen's organizations in state and national strongly supported this bill. This is our top priority in Virginia. Some of my co-hosts poor words can speak to the benefits of this bill, but I'll jump straight to the point. This is a religious-based ban on taxpayers from accessing lands they own as citizens of the Commonwealth. At the core, we're talking about banning hunters from lands they own as citizens, and in fact, they pay more for it than any other user group. Hunters pay more for less access. No other user group buys licenses, pays federal excise taxes that revert to the Commonwealth to support conservation, or buys stamps to annually use public lands. And I would respectfully ask you, in 2022, would you support a ban on fishing on Sundays, a ban on hiking on Sundays? From our perspective, we're missing the rationale for on-the-ground management of user groups and wildlife resources. In fact, this law was passed before Virginia even had a public land system. So the intent of the law and the effect of the law, I would say, need to be closely examined. And I would also encourage you to think about non-Christians, people whose Sabbath is not Sunday, Jewish people, Seventh-day Adventists. On Sundays we can buy tobacco, buy alcohol, buy hard liquor, lottery tickets, gamble, go to breweries, see live music, do everything except hunt. You can even go to public lands and shoot guns all day. On national forests, I can go out and plink my gun all day long, but I couldn't go out there with my bird dogs and go for a walk in the woods and maybe not even pull a trigger once because our bird populations are so low. So, some states actually prohibit other user groups from accessing WMAs during hunting season. And, I hope that's not something that Virginia comes to be able to accommodate all user groups. I think we can get along. I think this bill is a good path forward. And I would respectfully ask for your consideration and support on this bill. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Cole-Claser. I don't see any opposition in the queue. Is there anyone in the room who'd like to speak in support of Senate Bill 8? Please come forward.
Mr. Chairman, members of the subcommittee, Cyrus Baird with Delta Waterfowl Foundation. I'll be very brief. As John mentioned, this is one of our top priorities for the state. We were on that letter that John referenced, along with several other hunting and sportsman organizations. Most of you should have received a letter from me as well yesterday detailing our views on it. At the end of the day, this is an equity bill. This is an access for all issue. It's a very common sense solution, I think, to a problem that we've had. John mentioned this is the fourth time we've had this bill before you guys in the last 3 or 4 years. So really want to thank Senator Peterson for championing this, and do want to mention that it received broad bipartisan support in the Senate. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, come forward, state your name.
Good morning. Natural Committee Resources. Larry Riedel, Virginia Bowhunters Association. I'm one of the 12 or 13 that John talked about organizations. I'm here to ask you to support SB 8, and here's why. Number one, first, the Department of Wildlife Resources supports Sunday hunting. 2, Sunday hunting is already successful in 46 states. 3, Sunday hunting is estimated to create 4,000 new jobs and $300 million of economic impact. 4, restricting Sunday hunting is inconsistent with allowing activities such as golfing, fishing, boating, which are all more dangerous than hunting. Number 5, Sunday hunting is safe. In the last 10 years, there has been only one incident involving a non-hunter on public land, so the risk is practically non-existent. Finally, for my Northern Virginia folks over there, Delegate Tran, Delegate Plum, good morning. Thanks for talking to me last week. A couple points to consider. There's a small amount of public land in your districts. Public hunting is not allowed. We talked about waterfowl, with the exception of waterfowl, and SB 8 will not change that. So this is an opportunity to vote yes and allow Virginia to reap the benefits of Sunday hunting, yet there's no negative impact for your constituents because of your public hunting situation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name's Eric Lehman. I'm here on behalf of Virginia Public Land Hunters and Fishermen. We're just a grassroots social media group. We're about 10,000 strong, and we're in full support of SB 8. Access is one of the leading issues in the nation on public lands. It is in Virginia. SB 8 is leading to fix that issue. Sunday hunting is an argument in multiple states this year, in the East Coast as close as South Carolina. For outdoorsmen and sportsmen, it's a very important issue. It's been 8 years since it was passed here in Virginia that it was legal to hunt on private land, and it's created grave inequity and opportunity and that gives obvious reward to wealth, prestige, and land ownership. I think it's time to pass it here on public land. And as others have mentioned, the most polarizing subject here is religion, and disallowing Sunday hunting is a true religious liberties issue. That's how I see it. It forces largely Christian viewpoints, day of rest beliefs on other religious and non-religious public land users. With respect to religious activity, individuals should have the choice on Sundays. They're given that choice in all other public land recreation, and private landowners are given that choice on their own land. Hunting is otherwise a legal activity on all other days of the week, but you cannot participate in it on Sunday on public land. This bill has a necessary and incredible compromise that I think gives respect to all, and that is to protect choice and religious liberty with the clause that you can hunt so long as it takes place no more than 200 yards from a place of worship. Our grassroots group does a lot of mentorship. We've worked with DWR with their mentorship program. Multiple members of ours are certified mentors and public safety, hunter ed instructors. In having Sundays to help these new folks get into the outdoors and teach them and mentor them. Having that extra day on public land would be a huge benefit to those programs, to DWR and us. Our mission at Virginia Public Land Hunters and Fishermen is to protect, preserve, and conserve public land, habitats, and wildlife for future generations within the Commonwealth. Sunday hunting is going to help us to further that mission hand in hand with DWR. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else in support? Anyone in the audience in opposition? The Bow Hunters Association gentleman did reference DWR support. Ryan, would you want to comment on that?
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Chairman. Ryan Brown, the Department of Wildlife Resources. While we don't have a position on this particular bill, our board did pass a resolution this past fall supporting Sunday hunting on public lands, this very topic, or the discretion of landowners, public landowners, to make their own decisions, which is what this bill in effect does, just to be clear. As this committee may recall, years ago when Sunday hunting on private lands passed before this body, we supported Sunday hunting across the board without qualification, private or public lands. And at that time, the first step, that moved forward was private lands. And you'll probably also recall there was a lot of concern back then of, well, what are the impacts of this be, both to our wildlife resources and to the general public and the users of properties across the Commonwealth. And the answer is it has not had a negative impact in either situation. First of all, our game populations are just as healthy as they were before. There hasn't been over-harvest, and we can actually track through our system what day an animal was harvested on or checked in. From the law enforcement standpoint, Sundays tend to operate much more like a Tuesday or a Wednesday than they do Saturday in terms of user activity, and numbers of violations and things like that are quite minimal, and so are impacts to our staff. As was referenced by some of the other speakers, we hear a lot about Sunday hunting through our regulatory processes. And Sunday hunting on public lands, close to 40% of our hunters use public lands at one time or another, so it's a major source of opportunity, which is our number one need for our hunting constituency, and they let us know about it. There's in terms of user conflicts overall, people tend to think of individual situations or anecdotes or fears, but user conflicts on the ground. Hunting's just another one of Virginia's original outdoor adventure recreational activities that folks participate in, and our experience doesn't show that that's a problem interacting with other users out there. They do it on Saturdays now and throughout the week, so happy to take any questions that you may have.
You have any questions of Director Brown? Thank you. Committee works on motions.
Mood report.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Delegate Plum.
Mr. Chairman, I wonder if we could check our electronic feed to make sure that we don't have a speaker, Vic Thomas, on the electronic feed.
That would be a special feed.
I think we have a motion to report. Is that correct, Delegate Marshall? In a second.
Mr. Chair.
Delegate Tran.
Mr. Chair, I have a question for council. Could you clarify if our state parks are included in public lands? And also, and that's my first question. My second question for clarification, I thought the director said that this bill gives a choice to public landowners, but the way I read the bill, it is that it is available on all public lands. If you could clarify that question too.
Dr. Brown, clarify that?
Those for council.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair, and I am open to correction if I'm wrong, I believe parks would be public lands if it's authorized by the State Park Service, or if it's a local park, if it's authorized by the locality. As for the permissive nature, I actually would like to defer to the department on that, if
Well,
that's
let
okay.
me put it to you this way. We have a state law right now that bans hunting on public lands. So we have to roll that back to even allow individual public landowners to have that choice. Right now, we ban it. So.
And, Mr. Chairman, I'd just add to that, Title 29.1 is prohibitive in nature, which makes it a little different than the other sections of the titles of the code that you look at. It tells you what you can't do, not what you can do in most cases. And so if you look at that, it says, well, you can Sunday hunt on private lands right now. That doesn't take away the landowner's ability to decide whether or not hunting is available. Same thing with 6 days a week on your public lands. Actually, DCR on the state parks has hunting programs on a number of its park properties and hunting opportunities to deal with deer overpopulation and things like that 6 days a week. And so by making the code allow hunting on public lands on Sunday in the nature that this bill does, you're not directing that you can hunt on any public land you feel like. The property owner still has to allow it. In fact, we have certain properties where we only have hunting certain days a week, not including Sundays, but Monday, Wednesday, Friday, due to our management goals for that particular property. And so as I understand the bill, and I think I understand it correctly, all you're doing is extending another day's worth of discretion to your public landowners. You're not opening new properties to Sunday hunting without the landowner's consent.
Can I have a follow-up question, Mr. Chair?
Delegate Tran?
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. I don't know if somebody from DCR is here, or do you know if this bill passed, would the intent for DCR, two questions on that, would the intent be that they allow Sunday hunting on the state parks? And then is that a blanket approval, or is it each individual state park makes a decision?
See any of my friends from DCR, and I don't want to speak for them, but I will say we work with them very closely on the hunting that they have on their parks. It's actually our biologists who will consult with them about their population goals and let them, know what our recommendations are in terms of how they should go about addressing those concerns. And they have a very managed hunting program now where certain properties have hunting at certain times and others do not, and I would expect no less in this case. You're just dealing with a seventh day a week instead of the current 6 days, but their hunts tend to be less so at season-wide, just show up and hunt, and more of what we call a lottery hunt where they're going to allow hunting during a specific week of the hunting season to address a deer population, in most cases, issue that's either having an impact to resources on their property or to their users. And, their goal is to manage a specific population. And I see no reason why that would be any different if Sundays were available as well.
We do have any other questions? We do have a motion to report.
Second.
And a second. So, all those in favor, please vote on the board. Yeah. Bill reports 4-2. Thank you, Senator Peterson. Thank you, Delegate Plum. All right, next we have Senate Bill 492. Ryan? Senator McDougal, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Ryan Works.
I'm sorry.
No. I always tell people, Mama didn't change my name when I got elected. She might use some other things we don't want to talk about in committee. But, Mr. Chairman, I think Lisa prepared a amendment in the nature of a substitute that addressed, I think, all the issues that we heard on our side. And I'd ask that the subcommittee would consider that document to work off of.
I move a substitute.
All right, have a motion and substitute in a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Substitute is before us.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, this deals with snare traps, and I believe y'all looked at a version, but I don't believe it looked at like the version that's in front of you. We had an issue in one of our jurisdictions where some dogs were being caught in snare traps and died because they were not determined earlier. That's ongoing between the sheriff and the Commonwealth's attorney. But through that process, the county came and asked us to look at legislation, and this is what we've ultimately ended up with. And Mr. Chairman, the way we've worked this down with Lisa's help was this makes snare traps illegal to kill or trap east of Interstate 95, so it's limited in geography, during the general firearm deer hunting season, so it's a particular short length of time, and based on what we've heard from some of the agencies in the Farm Bureau, it exempts employees of DGI, the Department of Game and Inland Fisheries. It exempts any state and federal wildlife management conservation groups while they're working their programs. I believe they told me there's 6 or 7 that do use snare traps at sometimes, particularly for coyotes.
Senator, could I have staff record or just kind of, I know you've told us a little bit about the substitute, but with the substitute.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize for not having copies. I ran out of time this morning. But the underlying bill made it illegal to use a snare trap in an area east of 95 during deer hunting season. The substitute makes it clear that it's illegal to use a snare to trap any animal still east of 95 during general firearm deer hunting season, but then clarifies that the prohibition would not apply to local, state, or federal wildlife management or conservation agencies while they're engaged in management activities.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Any questions of Senator McDougall? None. I don't see anybody on the queue. So let's first go to Mr. LaCivita, who is against. I don't have anyone in the queue for.
He did not.
And Mr. LaCivita is not here. So, okay. Anyone in the room who would like to speak in favor of Senate Bill 492, the substitute, please come forward.
Mr. Chairman, my local people, that would have been here from the county, because the county is the one that asked me to produce this. They just had a baby at the end of last week, so they're not physically here this morning, but Richmond County's in support of it.
Thank you, Senator. Anyone in opposition in the room like to come forward, please? State your name.
Yes, good morning. My name is Heidi Crossy. I'm here on behalf of the Virginia Animal Owners Alliance. While we do believe the bill is well-intentioned, we represent farmers, and we are concerned that this is limiting the use of snares, which are an important tool in the toolbox. And so because of the limits it would place on farmers, we are opposing it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the subcommittee. Stephanie Talon with Virginia Farm Bureau. We do greatly appreciate the patrons' efforts to narrow the scope of this bill. It does make it better. However, our board has taken a position to oppose the bill as a whole because Farm Bureau has longstanding policy opposing anti-trapping laws. As I mentioned, when the House versions of this bill were heard, farmers across the state in all areas of the state and at all times of the year face pressure from wildlife damage, and we believe they truly do need the ability to protect their own property. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Charlton. I'm from Charlotte County, and I speak for the Virginia Property Rights Alliance. We feel landowners, including hunters and farmers, should have the right to reduce predators by any current legal means. Snare traps are an effective way to catch coyotes, and we don't see how anyone can possibly come to the conclusion that a snare is set for a dog. Hound hunting is a recreational activity where little or no effort is made to contain the dogs, and taking trapping rights away from livestock managers and property owners is an overreach of the law. At what point do we hold hound hunters accountable for their dogs? Far more dogs are killed by collisions with automobiles every year, yet these dogs are frequently released from the roadways. If you pass this bill, where does it end? Are we going to shut down the roadways next year?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the subcommittee. Zachary Sheldon with the Nature Conservancy. I want to thank the patron for working with us on the language. I believe, I haven't actually gotten to see the substitute language. I believe as it's written, it removes our concerns with impacting the migratory bird conservation work we do with the exemptions for the agencies. So I believe at this point we don't have a position anymore in this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I don't see anybody in the queue on the committee wanting to, with a question, so we have a motion. I'm not hearing.
I got a motion.
Okay.
I need to report the bill.
Second.
I do have a motion to report and a second. So all those in favor, please vote on your board. Senator McDougall, the bill fails to report on a vote of 3-3.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members.
Thank
Y'all
you.
have a good day.
That concludes our work, and I appreciate your time and attention this year. We're adjourned.